Let's have a little clip, look at this clip here about his claims on ITV about racism and the royal family. Have a look at this.
In the Oprah interview, you accuse members of your family of racism. You don't even...
No, we didn't.
Well, of...
The British press said that.
Right.
Did Meghan ever mention that they were racist?
She said there were troubling comments about
Yeah, there was concern
colour.
about his skin colour.
Right. Wouldn't you describe that as essentially racist?
I wouldn't, not having lived within that family.
Right.
So
You
again,
don't
going back to
Yeah.
the difference between what my understanding is, because
Okay.
of my own experience, the difference between racism and unconscious bias, the two things are different.
Okay, I'm totally confused here, and maybe you can help unpick this, because it seems like it's a direct contradiction to what Harry told Oprah last year about the racism in the royal family. What's this backtrack all about?
Yeah, again, this goes to show the disconnect between, you know, Harry's reality and the actual reality of things. You know, from the Oprah interview that we all watched, you know, he's saying it's the British media and the British tabloids. Again, we all watched it. You can't, you know, treat the public like we're stupid and gaslight us in this way. The comments that him and Meghan made in that interview clearly suggested that the royal family are indeed racist, because, again, they refused to name a specific person. They were happy to go along with this idea that someone in the royal family said it, and they wouldn't name the person, therefore it is a racist institution, you know, by default. And they let this idea proliferate for 2 years, because if he's saying that he didn't say the royal family were racist, but you knew that what you said was clearly spun that way, why didn't you say something against it in the 2 years that this interview has been out? Again, he's very disconnected from reality. You know, he's backtracking because he knows that he just keeps piling on the damage to the royal family, and by extension any hope that he can reconcile with them. And again, he's just making himself look ridiculous. Clearly we're watching, and I say this from a very personal perspective, we're watching a very troubled man, we're watching a very emotional man, we're watching a man who probably spends too much time with Hollywood therapists, because a lot of what he's doing right now is counterproductive. He seems like an angry, belligerent child, and I don't see how he thinks there's any coming back from this.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense. And in his sort of view of things, he's done everything possible, and this is the last straw. Well, if the last straw is to effectively give up and blow up any sort of relationship you have with your family, then you're really not in the right here.
Well, look, I think you're right. I think your point about the Arrested Development, about the man-child here, is absolutely correct. Thank you so much. And that's all the time we have for tonight, but I loved your insights here.